Iqbal Hussain. The police in Bangladesh identified him from CCTV footage. It's on your screen now. The date is October the 13th. Iqbal is first seen entering a mosque in Comilla in Bangladesh. He comes out with a copy of the Quran. He then heads to a puja pavilion. We see him going inside with the Quran, but when he comes out, the book is gone. Instead, he's carrying a mace, the traditional weapon of the Hindu god Hanuman. Now we know what happened next from local accounts. The Quran was found on the idol's lap. The locals immediately called the police. They came, they asked around, and all of this was being streamed live on Facebook. The internet did the rest. What followed was days of trauma and pain. Hindu neighborhoods were attacked, Hindu shops were vandalized, houses were set on fire. At least 7 people were killed in the violence. Bangladesh had to deploy their elite commandos, the RAB or the Rapid Action Battalion. Right now things are calm, but it's a fragile calm. Bangladesh now faces the most difficult task, reckoning with the riots, investigating what happened and unearthing the real conspiracy. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is saying all the right things. Today she tried to rally the country on religious tolerance.
What happened in Comilla is very saddening. Islam teaches us to respect humans. Everyone has a right to practice their own religion. One must not disrespect others' religion. This is not what Islam teaches.
50 people have been arrested so far. At least 72 cases have been filed. But this goes beyond individuals in the mob. There is a conspiracy to tear Bangladesh's secular fabric. The Quran inside a puja pavilion, the live streaming of the police investigation, the hate campaign on social media, all of it cannot be a coincidence. Clearly, it's regrettable that the local elements that had opposed Bangladesh's independence 50 years ago are still propagating their toxic narratives to instigate violence, hatred, and bigotry. Who are these violent elements? Most reports point to the Jamaat. Their objective is to create an Islamic state. Strict Sharia, no minority rights, perpetual hatred. That's what they want, the Jamaat-e-Islami. In 2013, Bangladesh banned the Jamaat. Many of their leaders were arrested. Some were executed for war crimes from 1971. So how is this terror outfit still surviving? How did they orchestrate nationwide riots? Because they had outside support. The Jamaat is a proxy of Pakistan. They get ideological and logistical support from the ISI. Think of them as Bangladesh's Taliban. Their plan has 2 parts. Number 1, to embarrass the Sheikh Hasina government, destroy her secular credentials. And number 2, to drive a wedge between India and Bangladesh. Fortunately, neither country is falling into this trap. Bangladesh's ruling party took out a rally in support of the Hindu community. The civil society is defending Bangladesh's secularism. The best example is this man, Mashrafe Murtaza, the former captain of Bangladesh's cricket team. Let me tell you what he wrote on social media last week, and this is very important. Listen carefully. We witnessed 2 losses yesterday. One was Bangladesh cricket teams, which was painful. The other was of the whole of Bangladesh. One that has shattered my heart. This is not the red and green we wanted to see. So many dreams, so many hard-earned victories lost in a flash. It's perfectly summed up, I would say. This is a crucial moment in history for Bangladesh. Islamist extremism is on the rise in South Asia. Afghanistan has fallen to them. Pakistan is sponsoring them. And their new target is clearly Bangladesh. How can the government keep these extremists at bay? With a complete investigation, the crackdown must not end with Iqbal Hussain. It must tackle the larger problem. The support coming from Pakistan and the nexus of Islamist extremism in South Asia. If not, if this is not done, the cycle of violence will repeat. And we must also ask ourselves, how long before Bangladesh's civil society surrenders?